What's up, YouTube? Daniel back for another video. Just taking this as I'm walking, finishing my morning walk on a Sunday here. As you can see, 1st of June, and just crazy reflections I've been having, gratitude, especially these past few days, things I was never grateful for before. Um, yesterday actually, just making food, simply making food for yourself, looking at the plate, realizing you're able to eat that, just have a plate of food to yourself. People, in different countries don't have that privilege. Prayed, was grateful for it, taking my morning walk, looking at something as small as a clock on a building and the detail that someone put into that, like the work that someone put into that, being grateful for them doing that. And it's crazy. And I want to touch base on the importance of spirituality for men, especially men in the world that have high aspirations, are looking to achieve big things. And I realize it's so easy nowadays, especially 21st century social media, chime on things, to be meant to be overwhelmed. So for me, for instance, before this, I always tell my story of like when I was 21 to 22, and you're basically overwhelmed with like social media and like this thing to chase essentially. Um, Before I fell into business and chasing money, you can say. In the beginning, it was chasing women. So I was, coming out of a relationship. I type in, how to pick up women, and essentially that was a new thing to chase. So how to pick up women. So you're chasing the feeling of being with a woman, being able to pick up a woman, attract a woman, and you're just operating out of lack always. And that was the first thing that I was programmed to chase. And then that went on for like 3-4 years. And if I had found spirituality or something within myself that told me not to do that, that would be a wholly different experience. But you become to a point where you're just programmed that whatever you want is outside of you. And it's actually so backwards. Like you're putting more into the validation that something outside of you is going to give you, as opposed to how you yourself are feeling in that process. The whole process that I was chasing, I was always in lack. Like it was just worse and worse. And the women I was going for, you feel more attractive, but the way I was approaching them was more and more out of lack and trying to compensate for that and portray myself as something I wasn't. The type of hurt like this, the ego, cockiness, things like that I wasn't actually, when I was behind closed doors. And something a lot of men I see struggle with, of not being able to be themselves. Obviously, you have to improve yourself. I'm not saying you should just be yourself and be like this, weak person. That's not, but I mean, not changing yourself entirely to get validations for someone to sleep with them, and then you think acquiring or being able to sleep with more girls as a turn like makes you a better person. It's totally backwards, and I realize that's super late in terms of like, okay, I've been with slept with like dozens of women, but why do I still feel like this emptiness? You know what I mean? Like, why is this still here? Why is this not going away? It's supposed to go away, you know, after the last one, or um, the other 50. So it's like, it's crazy how that applies to. I've seen everything, even in business, like men that are obviously looking to take care of their families, be, me myself from the first generation that my parents are from South America, so they moved to Canada to make a better life for us. So you have aspirations to, compensate them for what they've done for you and give back to them and all the sacrifice they've made for you. But then you look around society and all the men are just chasing. They're chasing money, even though what they're doing they don't like, they don't enjoy, and they're just like, oh, like I'll give myself permission to be happy or to be at peace once I have this. But then, like I said, it's the same thing with anything. Um, Once you get that thing, you realize it was never about getting that thing, but how you were feeling internally when you got that or received it. That's the most important thing. You can operate a block and think that once you get something, it's gonna give you that feeling like it's almost like a switch, and like, okay, now I can feel like that person that deserves it. But it's backwards. It's actually building yourself internally as that person that deserves it first, and as a consequence, you get it, and then the feeling you're searching for was always inside, anyways. You didn't need the thing. The thing was just a consequence or an addition to you being able to manifest that feeling within yourself. Everyone's just chasing a feeling. Men are chasing feeling with women. When they buy a car and they want, make enough money to buy that car they want and have that girl beside them and fill their ego. That's those always the visions I had when I was, in game, you could say, in pickup. And as you get better, you just keep having grander visions. But the visions are the devil. It's your ego. It's not real. These are visions that are promising you a feeling in the future, but you're still in lack. You know what I mean? It's like you're still chasing that feeling. It's almost like it's outside of you, but it's all within you. And spirituality helps teach you that. Helps to teach you that the desires you have are all a lie. They're being painted to you by the devil, by your ego, that are promising something better in the future, as opposed to developing that within yourself. And I think it's super key for men, especially nowadays. I see more and more men going towards God and spirituality. It doesn't see religion either. The whole thing of religion, of grouping yourself into, how you perceive something greater than yourself. I think there has to be a relationship above you. Your relationship with God, I can't tell you how the relationship is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's ways to conduct yourself and operate. You could say, as someone that believes in God or something, you can't be sinning and thinking, okay, if I just believe in Him, He's going to forgive me. No, there's ways you have to conduct yourself. But I mean, you don't have to group yourself into, I go to this church on this day, and I do this because these people. It's since I've been on this journey, I haven't gone to church. You could say, like, out of free will, because the way I believe it's, there's so many people that go to church but they don't conduct themselves as people of God. I mean, like, God, gave you certain things that so many people take for granted. For instance, your body is a temple of your spirit, and people every day are not disciplining themselves enough to take care of that body, and then they go to church and then are singing these songs and whatever it is. But you have to conduct yourself in a way that is showing respect and gratitude to God. That's what I do. So I do my routine, wake up for 40 every day, be grateful for another day. That's gratitude. No vices, so not destroying my body, my mind. That God gave me, body or mind, are the two things He gave you that are free, and people just throw away to chase things that I think have more value because there's money behind it. Cars, money, whatever it is. And so what, more or less what I'm getting into is that you have to begin to develop within first, internally first. It's an internal game. It's not an external game. And that is the reason why you right now are watching and are overwhelmed, have been there. You're chasing. Your external results are getting better, but internally you're getting worse and worse. I've been there, man. It's a feeling that doesn't get better. It only gets worse. And you start to hurt more and more people around you because you're just chasing that feeling. You're thinking, okay, if I get better, it's gonna get better for me internally. But what's the point of, like the saying goes, I think it's in Matthew, like, what use is it for man to acquire the world and lose his soul? It's the same game you're playing when you're chasing external results and thinking, oh, the better the result, the better I'll feel internally. Sure, you'll get a little pump, a little dopamine hit, but it's not gonna last. It's not something, that's not a long-lasting feeling or an eternal feeling. The feeling you want never needed external thing anyways. It needed yourself. It needed peace within. It needed lack of external desires, or lack of these goals that you think are going to get you that feeling. The goal never gets you the feeling. It's you realizing you never need the goal. it's a consequence, and obviously it's something good to enjoy. You need things that you know you're striving towards, but the focus should never be the goal. The focus is, how am I feeling now? How am I feeling peace internally? Am I feeling joy internally? Gratitude internally? Those are the markers you should be looking at. And it's not, okay, I can feel gratitude once I have this thing. It's the worst way to operate. Like I said, I've been there. This is out of experience in the area of women and thinking, okay, I have this girl now and she's treating me amazing, but I can fix this about her. Like, she can be more attractive this way, or like, I had a girl before that was doing this. So then you're not actually grateful for the girl that's sacrificing for you and God has given you. You're not smelling the roses. And that's one thing that someone that I was living with before, uh, my my big brother, my mentor, he helped me teach that you have to have gratitude. Like, I was always just chasing the next one and the next one. I never had relationships that I actually was able to flourish or keep around me, because I was always operating on a lack. I'm like, okay, if I keep this girl, I can't get the next girl, and like the next girl, and that's what a lot of men operate. It could be in women, relationships, business, the body. Oh, I look good now, but if I get this, if I get these whatever abs or my legs bigger, then I can start to feel good. But it's, how are you? Like I said, going back to it, internally, right? So spirituality helps you realize it's internal, it's not external. The world, the physical world, the devil wants you to think it's external first. You know, do and have first, and once you have it, then you're allowed to. You can validate yourself with the work that you've done because you have the thing. And that's how the world operates. They have to see to believe, as opposed to believe to see. And like I said, the growth that I'm seeing, I believe that there's growth there. You don't see it per se, but as I'm going more and more in this journey, I believe it more and more, and it will manifest because I believe it. And it's like I said, it's a feeling at the end of the day. The feeling you're chasing, I'm developing without that thing. You know what I mean? So it's a crazy, whole different dynamic to operate out of. But something that is super key. So this mic has been off the whole thing. Super key to understand. But anyways, I wanted to touch base on that quickly. I'm gonna head back, do my workout, read, reflect, and you know, look, develop that feeling within, as opposed to chasing outside. So, men watching, if you're right now in that state, your ego may be too high to realize this, but this message will get to you eventually, and you have to realize that it's an internal game. Stop believing the lies of, yeah, once you get that girl or that money or that business, or you hit that 10K month or whatever it is, that month of monetary gain, then you're able to feel good and you're going to clap for yourself and have internal good feeling. No, it starts with before. Believe to see, and not see to believe. Anyways, hope this video helped you. More videos coming in terms of my personal growth, things I'm reflecting on and seeing that will help you guys. But other than that, all the best of luck. Look internally, not externally. And in the meantime, keep killing it.